All right, new updates and new details in the Diana Rossini Mike Vrabel saga. Um, and before I get into the update from today, which is a juicy one by the way, definitely does not make her look good at all. I do just want to say I feel like a couple things. I feel like this is a little bit of overkill at this point. Like it sort of baffles me which stories end up you know capturing our attention. Like, I feel like this story is being covered so much more than like probably things that maybe are a little more important and carrying on too. But I guess the people get to be interested in what they're interested in. Does feel a little invasive though. It's not like the wildest offense in the world to have an affair. His and her actions are both, pretty diabolical, especially her on her side. With today's update as well, but it feels to me like someone has it out for Diana Rossini because this thing just keeps coming. And obviously the New York Post and Page 6, they've been releasing gossip stories like this forever. So they are clinicians in how to release these hit pieces. And clearly Diana Rossini pissed off or maybe Mike Vrabel, I guess. He just doesn't seem to be paying as heavy a price, although it's, clearly he is suffering a bit. Suffering. I don't mean to say that like he's a victim, but like he's clearly like having to deal with some stuff. But they are just clinicians in how to release these hit pieces, and they got her good. I mean, really good. They've completely devastated this woman's career, right? And she did it all to herself. But the particular way that they've assassinated her has been the way they drip fed the photos, like releasing the first few, so you didn't actually know what was going on in the story. Like people just filled in the story themselves, and then which baited Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel to come out and make statements, right? That ended up being lies. Like it is incredible the way they have played their cards, and they probably still have plenty more. But we sit here, whatever it is, a month later, and people are still digging into the story. It feels like there's still meat on the bone. Like, it doesn't feel like anyone's super tired of this story. I mean, again, I personally feel like maybe this is a bit of overkill, and I guess I just feel bad for her at this point. She's lost her job. Her marriage is likely on the rocks. This is going to affect her kids, too, right? Like, it just, I don't know. At some point, you just start to kind of feel bad for her a little bit, I guess. And as I say that, I'm about to dig into, like, a timeline of the whole saga and, like, cover updates. So, just as guilty as anyone else of being interested. Anyways, let's jump into what I want to get to here. Okay, so I just want to review this the timeline of this saga real quick, just to give you a short refresher. Okay, so obviously on April 7th, so exactly a month ago now, Page 6 published the initial photos. These were of Russini and Vrabel at the Ambiente Resort in Arizona. It showed them holding hands, not doing anything super untoward, but holding hands, and it looked like they were being somewhat romantic or intimate. Obviously, they're at this romantic resort, so. But the photos didn't show anything super salacious at first, right? Vrabel and Russini then come out and make statements in response to the story. Vrabel saying it was a completely innocent interaction, and in fact, he also said it was laughable, right? Russini makes her statement that it did not reflect the pictures did not reflect the larger group of people who were there. So they basically both come out and lie, right? And again, this is exactly what New York Post planned. Like, they know how to manipulate their victims, right? They're people they're going to try to nail. They know how people react when they're under pressure in these situations. Putting out those initial photos, I guarantee they had an idea that they could potentially bait out statements that were going to be untrue. So by that weekend, the Athletic asked Russini for pictures of a larger group or any texts, about a hiking trip or something. Which obviously she was unable to produce because that was all BS. At least that's how it appears. And so by that weekend, the Athletic had formally opened an investigation into Russini. And remember, although it's not really important at this point, The Athletic did come out initially and just like flat out defend her and say this is sexist, like basically insinuating that there's just because she's a female reporter that this was interest was being taken in her, that this story was they were trying to smear her, right? Well, by that weekend they've really changed their tune and they opened their investigation into Russini. By the following Tuesday, so a week after the photos were released, this story was released, Russini waved the white flag. She resigns from the Athletic, which is pretty incredible when you consider what an amazing job she had. Like, it's one of the most coveted jobs in sports media. You're an NFL insider. You're basically like speaking with and interacting with like people that have coveted, secret information. You're speaking with players, coaches. In her case, obviously Vrabel a lot, right? So, it's not only is it an exciting, interesting job, but she's also getting paid millions. She's one of the few women in the industry that are doing it, right? So, to me, it was very significant that she just resigned, because basically what she's saying is, you got me. Like, I can't come out and explain this because I can't actually explain what happened, and my only other option is to just resign. So, to choose resigning is that speaks volumes it spoke volumes in my opinion. So the next day after resignation, this just completely bizarre piece of reporting happened, which was that she was reported to have helped rescue a 73-year-old man and his dog from an overturned Jeep in Wyckoff, New Jersey after a collision. Page 6 and People framed it as a Good Samaritan moment immediately after her resignation. So somehow she happened upon a car crash in New Jersey, and indeed the reporting said something like she climbed up on top of the car, and I think I have a picture of it here. So these were the two cars involved in the crash, and there was reporting that she like got up on this Jeep and like helped the dude out of it. Anyways, I don't think I included that in my previous videos because it was so bizarre to me. I didn't even know what to make of it. It just felt like just a puff piece or like something that wasn't true, but it was just trying to help her out. But it was being reported by like TMZ and these other gossip channels. So why would they want to be doing that? And a day after her resignation, the timing was weird. It just made no sense. So I just kind of ignored it. So obviously then Vrabel has his press conference, right, a few days later, in which he's sort of hemming and hawing. He was basically acknowledging that he had done wrong, but not specifically what. And that it was a personal, private matter. He needed to handle it with his family and organization. He misses part of the draft to attend counseling. And then a few days later, Russini deletes her X account, which again is like, I think she did that because people were just like pulling up old tweets that like looked terrible. One being the one about her gazing at her son, her 4-day-old son named Michael, and wondering which are the greatest Mikes to ever coach and play in the NFL. Vrabel's name obviously being Mike Vrabel, right? So like people then sort of decided that, that kid must be Vrabel's kid, and that's why she named it Mike. And who knows? It may be true because we did get those photos that were released in one of the dumps from March 10th, 2020 that showed Mike Vrabel and Diana Russini together at a Tribeca Tavern in New York City. So they were at a bar in 2020 together looking intimate, right? And there was even a picture of them kissing. So this relationship was going on in 2020. That kid wasn't born until like 2021 or whatever, and she named him Mike. So people were putting it together, is that Vrabel's kid? It's just like, it's kind of like mind-blowing. So anyways, this was today's update was, where is it here? Okay, so today's update. This was a story released today by Page 6 again, New York Post. They've been the ones on this from the beginning. And the headline is, Diana Russini, Mike Vrabel boat trip, video emerges with NFL insider visibly pregnant. Okay, so let's just check out this video. Okay, so there's Vrabel. There's Russini on a dock. Oh yeah, she is. She's got a big belly. She's significantly pregnant. Coach Vrabel in the cut. Bro, you can't be so out in public with it. Like someone's just filming this, like with their phone, right? Like, you guys are being so stupid about this. I mean, How they didn't get caught till now is insane, because this has to be from, this is probably 2021, 2022. Her kids are a few years old now, right? So let's read the story a little bit. New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and former NFL insider Diana Russini's private boat excursion in June 2021 was captured on video, with TMZ revealing the footage. Vrabel and Russini, who was pregnant with her first child at the time, were seen walking on a dock before entering the vessel they'd rented privately for 2-3 hours in Putnam, Tennessee. Oh, Putnam, Tennessee is like a really it's like a beautiful vacation spot, I'm pretty sure. TMZ published the video after it was first to report that the pair, who are married to other people, signed their names on documents to rent the boat by themselves. Russini, who gave birth 2 months later, was reporting for the Titans for ESPN at the time, while Vrabel was head coach of the team. Employees of the boat company were reportedly asked not to share photos from the outing because Coach Vrabel wanted to enjoy a private weekend. Oh my God. Russini declined to take a photo with the staff, while Vrabel snapped a pic, but asked not to share it publicly, according to TMZ. Oh my God. So this was they were literally getting asked for photos, and they were telling the employees of the boat company, please don't share photos of this. Coach Vrabel wants to enjoy a private weekend. Oh, I'm sure he does, with a pregnant married woman. Good God, Coach Vrabel. It's just so bad. I just feel like this guy's not gonna... Look how happy they look. Oh my God, look how happy she looks. I don't think Vrabel's going to get fired, but it just looks worse and worse every day. I just don't think there's any amount of pressure that can build up that the Patriots will succumb to. I mean, between Deflategate and Cheatgate, how many different times did people think they were cheating and doing different nefarious shit, spying on people, right? They have been through this so many times, and they know that if you just wait long enough, it'll just go away, right? And Vrabel has showed some contrition, so he's on the right path to sort of being forgiven, right? For this particular update of this story, it's just her and him privately at some rental boat getaway, and she happens to be pregnant with a child at the time. So who knows? Does this lend to the idea that this is his kid? Maybe he wanted to get some time with, the woman that he got pregnant and the baby that's coming out that's going to be his. I don't know. It's just so odd. That's all just speculation. So this was the other thing. If you remember that I mentioned in the timeline, that there was reporting the day after she resigned that she had saved someone from a car crash, or had been involved in a heroic act in which she pulled someone out of a car, right? Apparently this Jeep that was involved in a collision. She was apparently driving by when, she saw this having happened, and she got out and helped out. Let's see here if it gives us a little rundown. Okay, remember when Diana Russini went into superhero mode and rescued an elderly driver in a car crash fresh off her resignation over the Mike Vrabel scandal? A new witness claims that's not what happened, at all. Page 6 initially published the NFL Insider's Good Samaritan Act, stating Russini, her mom, and kids were cruising in Wyckoff, New Jersey, when the terrifying accident unfolded right in front of them. As a Jeep sat on its side, a witness claimed Russini sprang into action, got a boost to the top of the whip, and yanked the door open to help an old guy and his beloved dog get to safety. Okay, so that was what was reported, that she did this heroic act, right? After speaking to a different tipster this week, the outlet now claims all Russini did was hold the dog's leash after it exited the crashed Jeep. So who was the real hero? The new tipster said it was actually their husband who did the heavy lifting. Okay, so this was literally some wife who saw their husband save someone from a car crash, or out of a car that had just crashed, and then saw the story on the news, except the news was giving credit to Diana Russini for saving the guy out of the crash instead of this woman's husband. So this woman probably called in and was like, wait, no, that girl that was there, this Diana Russini woman, she just stood there and held the dog's leash. She didn't do anything. She didn't touch the car. She didn't touch the guy. So now, in Russini's defense, there was no reporting that she was the one or anyone related to her called in and said that she had done this, right? It's not like she was fishing for some good press. It looks like someone else was for her, though. Who knows? Maybe it was her mom or some shit that just called in and told her that she was involved in this and, exaggerated a bit. But yeah, so it's unclear how the original story came to be. Perhaps someone wanted to offer Russini an alley-oop after all the bad press. Yeah, who maybe it was one of her friends or something, but it's just very odd. Just another bizarre. I mean, again, and this is why these are the type of details that give a story new life and keep it novel, right? Like it's like these weird, bizarre episodes of the saga, like where but day after resignation, she's saving someone from a car crash. Like, how many people in their life actually ever get the chance even once to save someone from a car crash, right? And this happens to happen the day after she resigns from her job and needs good press. It just seems so oddly timed and so bizarre. When I first read it, I didn't even know how to wrap my head around it. I just felt like this can't be true. So I just didn't. That's why I didn't even mention it in my original videos on this subject. And by the way, I have a number of videos on this that I've done. If you want to watch them, sort of cover the whole saga. So the last thing here that I just wanted to touch on was that she was okay. So there is some hinting that she will tell her side of the story eventually, and sort of give her details. Let's just read here. This story is from Pro Football Talk. Oh, Mike Florio. So he's been on the trail on this. For now, there are hints that she will eventually tell her story via Sam Newman of Awful Announcing. John Stugatz Wiener recently made comments on his radio show suggesting that at some point she'll share her vision of the events. This is her story to share when she feels like sharing it. Wiener said. Oh, and okay, so it's Stugatz. Stugatz's name is John Wiener. I'd forgotten that. So this is her story to share when she feels like sharing it, Stugatz said. It is not me, and it is not my obligation to talk to Diana Russini privately on the phone and then share it with a radio audience that she doesn't want me to share it with, because it's not my story to tell. It's her story to tell in her timeline. This implies that at some point Russini will tell her story. For now, her story is confined to the statement issued in the New York Post on April 7th and contents of her resignation later, 1 week later. Yeah, so this is basically just speculation. However, the one thing I will say is Stugatz is very close with her, and I listen to his show from time to time, and he said he did explicitly say at one point that he had talked to her on the phone since this story happened. But it's clear he's not going to reveal any details of that conversation. However, he did say this is her story to share when she feels like sharing it, and if I remember correctly, from what I heard, he said that she had told him she will tell the full story at some point. So, who knows when, but this just lends to what I was saying in terms of I think she'll definitely get another job in the industry somewhere, because she's going to be perfect as a podcast host or a show host, right? It's not going to be with a major network. It's not going to be any sort of type of journalism position. Unless she just becomes an independent NFL insider and just continues to somehow break stories. Which would be crazy, but who knows? Maybe she still has real sources that don't care about this, right? And they're just willing to still give her information. Or who knows? Maybe she's got other guys she can get information out of other ways. That's just a possibility. But at the very least, she will have a place in the podcast world on some show where it's just, goofballing around, talking about sports, talking about football, where she can leverage her contacts and her knowledge in order to create content, right? And then obviously you're going to have the fact that people are going to want to hear her story. People are going to want to hear what actually happened through her words. So that a podcast is obviously a great vehicle to share that on, and she can sort of leverage that attention towards launching a podcast of her own, or bringing attention to someone she's going to join. And then the other thing too is I think there will obviously be a tell-all book at some point. It's just the money is just too free for her, right? To just release a book that has some goofy title that's I'm trying to think of some pun for the the story of the NFL's a story of an NFL inside her, right? The inside her, instead of insider, it's inside her. Because Vrabel was inside her, or at least that's what everyone's speculating. So she could use some pun like that to make some catchy book title, and give a tell-all, which whether it's tell-all or just whatever she wants to share, that book will sell a lot of copies, right? Now the consequences are paid. I mean, maybe not with her husband. Who knows? Maybe she's still trying to salvage her marriage. But once that is all behind her, she will have no reason not to share the details that she can or that she wants to. And indeed, she will be motivated to do so just because, our world is an intense economy, right? So she want to cash in on that. If there's any more updates, we'll talk about it some more. Appreciate everyone listening.